Hello students, once again we are forced to be online because of this second wave of corona. Let us hope that this pandemic will be under human control in the immediate future. It's not certain when we will be able to get back to our normal life and walk around freely as we did in the past. But we have to go on with our studies. So we have started online classes. You are familiar with online classes. After every class, you will be given assignments by every teacher and you will have to send your assignments to the personal number of those teachers. Remember, you will be given attendance only when you submit your assignments. In today's class, we will learn the first poem of your English textbook, Honeycomb. The name of the poem is The Squirrel by Mildred Bower Armstrong. Listen carefully and write the assignments properly and then send the assignments to my personal number before the time given for submission. Now let us get into the poem. The Squirrel by Mildred Bower Armstrong. She was an American poetess. She was awarded the National Medal of Science in 1990. The poem The Squirrel is a beautiful composition where the poetess describes the playful and exquisite or very attractive nature of a squirrel in a simple and joyful manner. Now let us enjoy the poem. It's a very short poem of 6 lines. But in this 6th line, the poetess has given a very beautiful picture of a squirrel. But here, it's not just about the squirrel, it's about the nature. The beauty of the nature, the wonderful things that we fail to see in nature is given here in this poem. So it's a very worth reading poem and it's a very beautiful poem. This poem gives a very good information about different poetic devices used. Most poets use different poetic devices when they write their poem. In this poem, we can find mainly 2 poetic devices. Many are there, but still in this, we will be concentrating only mainly 2 poetic devices used. One is rhyme scheme and the other is personification. We will talk about this at the end of this poem. Now, let us enjoy the poem. He wore a question mark for tail, an overcoat of grey. He sat up straight to eat a nut. The poetess begins the first stanza with the physical description of the squirrel. The poetess in her imagination sees it as if it is wearing an overcoat of grey because it has grey fur all over its body with dark stripes on it. Its tail rolls about. You might have observed the squirrel. The tail, when it sits, it may be seen to be just like a question mark. So here she says, its tail rolls about, twisting like a question mark. In the last line of the stanza, the poetess also describes the food that the squirrel is fond of or it loves to eat. It enjoys nuts and sits straight while eating nuts. So here in this first stanza we can say the poetess explains how we can see a squirrel in nature. And now look at the second line. In that she says, the squirrel has an overcoat of grey. With this usage, the poetess wants to say that the squirrel has a grey fur all over its body, which looks like it is wearing a grey overcoat. And we can say the first stanza is all about the physical appearance of the squirrel and its way of eating its food. Now look at the second stanza. He likes to tease and play, and if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. In this stanza, the poetess describes the playful nature of the squirrel. In the first stanza, the poetess explained about the physical appearance of the squirrel and its way of eating food. And here in this second stanza, she talks about the playful nature of the squirrel. She is attracted by its swift or quick and joyful movement, and there is a hide and seek game going on between the poetess and the squirrel. In the last 2 lines she says, if we ran around his tree, he went the other way. Which means when we go near to the tree, what does he do? He go around the other way. He doesn't stop for us, otherwise he will not be receiving us. He will run away from us. So there is a hide and seek game going on between the squirrel and the poetess. Because the moment she gets too close to play around it, and when she runs around the tree, what does he do? The squirrel gets immensely shy and he runs away in other direction. Here the poetess says that the squirrel likes teasing and playing. If anyone runs around the tree to catch him, he will change the direction immediately. To sum up the poem, the squirrel is a beautiful, fun-loving, alert and clever animal. The poetess gives us a very small but an extremely beautiful example of the fascinating nature, beautiful nature. In this small poem, the poetess stresses that the nature is very attractive and wonderful, and so is the creatures in it. The small creature, squirrel, how wonderful and beautiful it is. When we observe that, we will be able to understand that. And we will be able to realize that only when we observe the nature closely. To realize this, we should take a break from our busy life to enjoy the mesmerizing beauty of the nature and its creatures. Now, let us look at the poem closely once again. In the beginning, I told you about two poetic devices used in this. One is rhyme scheme and the other is personification. We will learn about these two poetic devices used in the poem. It is useful for you in your higher classes as well. Let us understand that. In the very first line of the poem, the poetess referred to the squirrel as he. We use the pronouns he or she for humans. Here, the poetess used he to refer to the squirrel in order to give human-like qualities to an animal. Here, it is squirrel. This is a poetic device. Its name is personification. So, what is personification? It is giving human-like qualities to a lifeless thing or an animal. Like we referred here the squirrel as he. So it is given human-like qualities. So here understand that if you give human-like qualities to a lifeless thing or an animal, it is personification. In many parts of the poem, we can find the poetess has used personification. The poetess says that he wears an overcoat of grey, then he sat up straight, all those. Then again, in the second stanza also we found he liked to tease and play. Tease and play, it is done by children or humans. It's not done by animals. If we run around his tree, it is used there. He went around the other way. There all we can find the poetess has used personification. Further, we can see the poetess says he wore a question mark for tail. Usually we don't say an animal wore a tail. We say an animal has a tail. People used to wear their clothes. Animals never do that. Here also the poetess used the poetic device personification. Another example of personification is an overcoat of grey. Overcoat is used by humans, not by animals. Here also the poetess gives human-like qualities to the squirrel. This is also a good example of personification. Now let us look at another poetic device used in the poem, the rhyme scheme of the poem. Of course, in your lower classes, you might have seen this type of usage. And how we can understand the rhyme scheme of a poem is described here. Listen to it carefully and try to understand the rhyme scheme of every poem that you read. Don't think that every poem will have a rhyme scheme. There are poems written without rhyme scheme as well. Such poems are called as blank verse. Here, this poem, the squirrel, has a very definite rhyme scheme. Let's see that. To understand the rhyme scheme of a poem, we have to look at the poem very closely. We have to look at the last word of every line in the poem. Look at the first line. The last word here is tail. To mark the rhyme scheme, we use the first letter of English alphabet, that is A. The last word of the first line here in this poem is, it is tail. So in the first line, we use A. And now look at the last word of the second line. What is that? It is grey. And this grey doesn't rhyme with tail. So it is considered as a new word. So for that new word, we will use the next alphabet, that is B. So tail, it is given A, and grey, it is given B. Look at the third line. The last word of the third line is nut. As nut doesn't rhyme with tail or grey, we give the third alphabet, that is C. And now look at the fourth line. The last word of the fourth line is play. And we can see that the word play rhymes with the word grey. So for the word play, we use the same alphabet that we used for grey. What was the alphabet that we used for grey? That is B, because play and grey rhyme. Now look at the fifth line, the second last line. The last word here is tree, which doesn't rhyme with any of the words. So that is considered as a new word again. So that is given the fourth alphabet, that is D. In the last line, the last word is way. The word way rhymes with grey and play. So we will use the same alphabet that we used for grey and play. What was that? B. So in this way, we mark the rhyme scheme of every poem. The rhyme scheme of the poem here is A, B, C, B, D, B. What is that? A, B, C, B, D, B. That's all about the poem. As I told in the beginning, after every class, you will be given assignments. You have to note down those assignments and do the assignments in time and send them to your teachers. And here, the assignment for this poem is write a poem on the butterfly. You have to write a poem on the butterfly. That poem should have a definite rhyme scheme as it is given for this poem. And don't think that you should give the same rhyme scheme. You can give any rhyme scheme. A, B, B, C, B. In that we can give A, B, C, B, D, B. In that way we can give A, B, C, A, B, C. In that way we can give. In any way, there should be a definite rhyme scheme for the poem. And next assignment is read another poem in your textbook and find out the rhyme scheme of that poem. And finally, in your textbook, after the poem, you are given questions. Try answering those questions. So 3 assignments you are given. One is to write a poem on butterfly. That poem should have a definite rhyme scheme. Second assignment is you have to take a poem from your textbook, any other poem. You take that and note or mark its rhyme scheme. And the third assignment is at the end of the chapter, this poem, Squirrel, you are given questions. Try answering those questions. That's all, and thank you for watching.